I gotta tell you guys, it is cold, and unfortunately I don't have my new team kit yet, so I'm racing in my old Reload Racing kit. However, I don't think it's going to matter today, because I'm going to be wearing the jumper. It is just way too cold to be out there in a single layer, so we're going for everything. We've got the base layer, the neck warmer, the jersey, the jacket, we've got the leg warmers, we've got the overshoes, we've got the helmet, and we've got the long finger gloves. I think I'm going to survive today, but we'll find out. And as you can see, I'm not the only one who's rugging up. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another race analysis video. Today's actually a bit of a welcome back to racing for me. I've taken 6 months off after my daughter was born, but I'm really excited to get back into it. This is the Norwood Winter Criteriums, and this is men's NCC grade. And right off the bat, things aren't going well, and I drop my chain and it gets stuck. 10 seconds later, I'm throwing it all down, trying to get back to the group. Now, fortunately, it wasn't a terribly hard start, and I was able to make it back on, sit on, and recover for a little while, but not a great start for my first race back in 6 months. Now, it's been a while since I've raced. I was definitely a bit rusty, and I made a whole bunch of mistakes. In fact, I made a few before this race even started. First of all, I forgot to change my camera to wide angle, so I'm sorry that you're only staring at people's butts. I forgot to check the rear camera's SD card, so that wasn't recording. But worst of all, I forgot to change my cassette from an 11 to 30 to an 11 to 25. It's incredible how much you miss those extra gear changes when you're switching between 110 RPM and 85 RPM. And a lot of the time coming out of the bottom corner, I felt like I was really having to grind out or else spin out in a stupidly high gear. And I definitely noticed in the final sprint when, instead of clicking up 2 gears like I normally did, I got stuck in a much higher gear than I wanted, and rather than being able to get on top of the gear, I was really having to grind it out. But anyway, let's get into the race. So I've sat on the back for half a lap, and I've managed to catch my breath, so it's time to move up a bit. The wind is a cross tailwind on the back straight, so it's always easy to move up with very little effort. And you can see that I've gone right from the back of the field all the way to the front, sort of 10 wheels, all sitting at about 50 watts. Then again, about 5 laps later, from the back of the pack to near the front, and this is all at about 100 watts. And at this point, it's not so much that there's a tailwind, it's just the field's not pedalling. And so it's easy to move up. And this time, a few laps later again, once again moving up when the field stops pedalling, from mid-pack to just about the front. And this time I'm ready when this guy from Scion starts to move up the road. Now, I stay on his wheel, put in a little bit of effort, but unfortunately this peters out, and although we catch the guys up front, the peloton catches us pretty quickly and the move doesn't really go anywhere. So I've jumped back to the beginning of the race. We're about 4 minutes in, and this is the first sort of serious attack off the front. But it's a solo rider, so at 4 minutes into the race, it's really not threatening. This is C grade. This grade will chase absolutely everything back, and unless there's a team actively blocking on the front, there's no hope for anything this early. So the guy in the orange takes off, and as there's nobody going with him, I'm not particularly fussed. So look, talking tactics, I'm on my own in this race, and I've really got no idea how my legs are going to hold up compared to the rest of the field. I decided to put instead of putting all my eggs in the sprint basket like I usually do, I decided to try a few moves. And I decided that when the A grade passed us, the A grade races at the same time as C grade, sometimes when the A grade passes, if you can get off the front just before A grade passes, you can kind of sneak away while they're passing. While a faster group's passing you, your race is neutralised, so you've got to pull off to the left and wait for the faster grade to pass. But there's nothing that says that if you're off the front you have to slow down while they pass you. So that's something I thought I'd try a few times. And whilst I messed it up entirely the first few times they passed towards the end of the race, I had a few opportunities. You can see here, we're 6 minutes into the race, A grade's passing. It's way too early for me to go. I can't hold for another half an hour by myself, but you can really see how much the field slows down. We're much deeper into the race now, and I decided it's finally time to try something for myself. You can see the fields spread out two guys have gone up the front, so another guy's crossing over to them, and I decide to have a go. Unfortunately, by the time I do get across to them, just a couple too many people have followed me, and now the whole peloton is on my wheel. But it goes back to the old rule, whenever the field slows down, that's the best time to attack. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it stick on this occasion. So we're coming into 2 laps to go. There's a solo rider who's just jumped off the front, and do you remember that guy in the orange kit who went off right at the beginning? Well, you know how those early moves never work? Well, this guy's still off the front. He's been riding solo for about half an hour now, and this has been a fast race. It's averaged about 42 k's an hour so far, and this guy's still off the front, and he's still got a healthy gap with 2 laps to go. The pace is high, the group's still strung out, so it's really not a good time to try to move up. But fortunately, the 80X guy with the fresh dragon tattoo on his leg starts moving me up a few places. Cheeky little shoelace tighten. Pro move right there. We're at that tricky part of the race where no one really wants to be doing the work to bring the moves down, the moves back. The pace is reasonably high, but it's not enormous, and with 1 lap to go, that solo rider still has about 200 metres of a gap. But fortunately, with about a lap to go, 80X gets on the front and tries to bring back the guy in orange, and they put some serious beans into it. I'm worried that I'm a bit too close to the front here. With only 2 riders to go and most of a lap to go, I'm worried that this is going to peter out and I'm going to be left with too much to go. But fortunately, Phil on the front is absolutely motoring, and he doesn't actually drop off until the bottom corner. You can see the guy in orange is clearly absolutely dying here, so it's time to open up everything I've got left and hope I've got something at the end. Unfortunately, we just ran out of road to chase him down, and he managed to stay away with the win. So clearly a super strong solo rider, managed to hold off a full C-grade bunch, but kudos to him. So it was good to get back on the road, and I look forward to the next one. See you next time.